You are muted. You can mute or unmute yourself by pressing star 6.
You need to unmute that phone number, Ryan.
You are muted. You can mute or unmute yourself by pressing star 6. Unmute your microphone. You can press star 6 to unmute.
You have to unmute it, won't let me unmute it. There, I think you did.
You're good. All right, Mayor, we're ready.
All right, good afternoon, everybody, to the Beach Mountain Town Council meeting on September the 8th, 2020. All present, including Mr. Wagner. And we'll start off with the adopt the agenda. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, public comments.
Mayor, we have one public comment. It is in your packet. It's from Mrs. Sugarman, reference fire pit, and it's also on the website.
All right. Consent agenda, need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we have new business. Okay, so now we're doing the SRF Water Infiltration Sewer Project. That's a loan that we're going to be requesting. I need a motion for approval.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Second, we have another SRF infrastructure for drinking water project. That is also a loan. I need an approval, I need a motion for that.
Motion.
All second?
Second.
Okay. Third is apply for an assessment grant for sewer. It's a A1A grant. I need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I didn't ask for if anybody had any comments on that.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding the grant.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
Okay. The
Go
grant, the AIA grant is a $180,000 grant for the sewer on Grassy Gap, correct?
Yes, sir. That's a grant to camera the sewer line so we can ascertain what repairs, if any, are required. It's a 80-20 grant. Our match will be 20%. So this authorizes us to go and apply for the grant. Hopefully we'll get it. We believe we have a very good chance. We'll camera that sewer line. It ties into the other two resolutions that you previously passed. This is the next phase of the water and sewer line replacement program, similar to what we're doing right now.
Yes, sir.
So this is about 2 years out. And the resolutions that you passed tonight allow me to make application for the loan and begin engineering and putting that together.
So all three are tied together then?
Yes.
Okay.
And then Chief, with the other two, in regards to the water, I want to make sure I didn't miss it. There's no amount at this time of what we're requesting.
No, and the reason for that is we haven't designed the infrastructure replacement yet. This begins that process.
Yes, sir.
It'll be similar to the project we have underway for water main replacement and sewer line work. So this resolution, both these resolutions allow us to go to the state revolving fund, apply for apply for loan money. West Consultants is our engineer of record. We have a contract with them for this next phase, and then they will take that information and start putting together a budget based on the work that we want done, and we'll put that next phase into operation. It'll be water line replacement sewer replacement and rehab, and then this camera work on Grassy Gap outfall.
Yes, sir. And the last comment or question I have is this helping with the intake project?
Oh, absolutely. This is what you directed us to do back in February, move forward on infrastructure. You know, we're doing the project now over in the Overbrook area, Hornbeam. This moves a little bit farther west. It's in various spots where we have issues that need to be replaced and upgraded. And about every 2 years, we're going to have to do a project like this until we get done.
Yes, sir.
So all of this, Chief, a question, is it within the same timeline, within the 2 years?
Yes, ma'am. Well, it's going to take us 2 years to engineer it, to go through the loan process, secure the funding, bid the job, award a contract, just like we did in the first group that we're doing
Right.
now. It's that we're going to repeat that
Okay.
in a different area of the town, and that it'll take us 2 years to make that happen.
Gotcha, okay, thank you.
Chief, I've got a question. So with these projects that we have going on now, or maybe in the near future, are there other future projects that need to tie into our infrastructure that we should look at some type of a federal or state bond and try to do all these projects at one time and look at not every 2 years, but look at 15 years out, 20 years out, 30 years out, in where Beach Mountain needs to be?
Well, the answer is yes, of course. With some exceptions, most of the infrastructure needs to be replaced. It's been in the ground for 40-plus years. And so part of these projects are identifying that and then going forward and putting a project together. We're doing the projects by feet of pipe, because we're trying to find the sweet spot where we get the most contractor interest. They don't want to do a small job, and if you make it too big, one, we can't afford it, and two, it reduces the number of contractors that can do that. So we're designing it by number of feet of water line, number of feet of sewer line, and it runs about, a couple $1 million is what we're doing now. I don't want to give a number because it may, we're 2 years out and it may, I may be way off. That's why we want this resolution to pass so that we can begin the process.
And this will be funded how?
We're going to borrow the money,
Okay.
similar to what we did for the existing project, assuming that we have the capacity in our debt structure through the state revolving loan to borrow those funds. To answer your question, as we go forward, we're going to have more these are ongoing projects. We plan to do one about every 2 years because of the reasons I stated. That's about how long it takes, and the funding is the issue. This all ties into the Watauga River or the well sites. It's all, I think that's what I understood you were asking. The town started with a new water plant because that was deemed to be the most critical issue. So we funded a new water plant and built it. And then we were doing this project over in Overbrook to replace the water lines and sewer lines. This will be the next phase that we're talking about today. And yes, Councilman, there'll be more as we go forward.
So the consultants will put together a hit list or a priority list of what the town needs to do currently, and 2 years down the road, 10 years down the road, et cetera?
Well, yes, the engineering firm West Consultants now is working on this phase 2, and their scope of work is just on that phase and getting these loans that you're approving today. You can expect, or someone can expect, to do this again 2 years after 2022 when that project is underway, similar to what we are today in 2020 with the first phase. We'll have to do this again, and you have to do this until we catch up.
Last question. How was the water plant funded?
It was a USDA bond.
Okay.
And who's in charge of managing these funds? Will that be you or Daniel or?
It's- Well, ultimately, it's the town manager,
Okay,
Steve Smith and I, and the engineer.
okay,
Handle currently. The SRF has got quite a bit of paperwork involved. So for instance, when a request for payment comes in from the contractor, it has to be approved by the engineer.
Okay.
Has to be approved by Steve Smith, ultimately approved by me. Then it goes to the state
Perfect.
for approval.
Okay.
And when everyone's signed off and all the Ts are crossed and Is are dotted, the check comes.
perfect. All right, thank you.
I apologize for not asking questions, but any more? Any other questions?
No, sir.
Answer
All
mine.
good? All
Yeah,
right.
comfortable.
6.4, 2020 US Census Report for complete count approval. I need a motion for that, or is there any discussion on that? On the census?
Do we have volunteers that are going to go around Beach Mountain to,
I think it's
There is
Do
a
the
gentleman.
census, or-
There is a gentleman doing it.
okay,
He's been down my street 3 times.
There are census
I've seen it.
workers,
I've seen
they're
it.
employed.
Okay.
And their job is to go out, if a census wasn't done online, then they go out and knock on your door. We thought it was important to put in your agenda and get to the public because a lot of our funding is based upon the census. And North Carolina has a very low census rate right now. And if the town wishes to, get every available dollar that's due to us, we would like the residents to participate in the census.
okay, great. So we have somebody that's
Yeah.
counting.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
He doesn't work for the town, but he
Yeah.
works for the Census Bureau.
Right.
Okay.
And he's
He's a
been
contractor.
going around for the last 2 weeks.
I've gotten mail-in stuff. I just
Yeah,
didn't know
you
if somebody
can do
was
it
going
online.
door to
If
door.
you do
to
it
make sure.
online, no one knocks on your door.
Right, I've
Okay.
done mine online.
I'll
Okay,
make a motion.
second.
Me?
All in favor?
Aye.
sir.
Okay, 7, old business. I'm going to table this, the planning board vacancy. I'm going to ask the town clerk to re-advertise it on our website and Facebook or whatever other way. I'm not discounting what we have. I'm just seeing if there's anybody else that's interested. And then we can re-look at it in October and then appoint somebody. At this point, we're not having any meetings, so it's not like we're gonna be short of anybody. So I need a motion to table it at this point.
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So Mayor, so I understand, we'll re-solicit, if they've already have an application in, will that suffice, or do you want a new application?
No, we already have one. I know the town clerk has
Okay.
already called them, and they said they're still interested. So I don't think we need to go through that process again. It's just to see if we have some other
Okay.
people that have come up, are not aware that there's a vacancy, and see if there's any opportunities.
And we'll place this on the October 14th agenda.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
All right, town manager staff report?
Well, first thing I'd like to bring to your attention is the Insurance Services Officer's report that I've included in your packet on our building department. There's a lot of information there when you have some time and you want to do some light reading and look at graphs and things. A couple highlights I want to tell you. The scale is 1 to 10, 1 being worst, 10 being, 1 being the best, 10 being the worst. We have a 3 in our residential and 4 in our commercial. It's the other way around. It's 4 commercial and 3 residential. Let me get that straight. We have a 4 for 1 and 2 family dwellings and a 3 in commercial. That ranks better than average in the state. The state, both are at a 5. We're at a 3 and a 4. What does this rating mean? It has a direct correlation to the insurance rates that businesses and residents are charged for their property insurance. So obviously, the better we do, the better our citizens do in their property insurance. This is an independent evaluation. It's not a government agency. This is an agency, ISO, that actually works for the insurance company. The point that I'd like to make is that their motivation is not to save money for their clients, So they're pretty strict when they come out and do an evaluation. They evaluate the building department, which is what you have in front of you today. And they also evaluate at a separate time the fire department. And those are the two things, property casualty rates and fire insurance rates that it reflects. As you go through the graphs, some of the positives are that our inspectors, their workload is higher than the statewide average. We seem to think we have it figured out. I think that's better than having less work. And one of the negatives is our training. We took a hit on our training per inspector over the period. Part of the reason is we are short-staffed, we are working them, but we also had inspectors that needed to get their standard certificate and their level 2 certificates. We will improve on the training going forward for our next evaluation. There is quite a bit of information here for you to look at, or if the public would like to take a look at it. The executive summary does exactly that, summarizes the report. It also talks a little bit about the hazards that our building codes reflect in Beech Mountain. We're in a high wind zone. We obviously have winter weather. We do have earthquakes. So this report is a very comprehensive report on our building department, and you and the public should be pleased that we got the rating that we did, and it's 100% for the three folks that are working in that office. Plus Kelsey, she manages all the paperwork for them, and this type of evaluation is paperwork intensive. So I don't know if you had a chance to look at it all, but if you've got a question, I'll try to answer it. I feel that I understand the report. I've spent quite a bit of time in it, but you could stump me.
No, how often do they evaluate?
It's a 5-year rotation. Because of the COVID-19 issue, they've been a little delayed, but this was done back in the spring of 2019 or 2020.
Oh, okay.
So
I have a question, Chief. All these pages have a grade or a score except for page 67. What does it mean with the 0 with our area and the county and?
those are benchmarks, and that all of these charts are benchmarks. So I'm on page 67, and it's the benchmarking chart 3-10, correct?
Yes, sir.
Points earned for timely unamended code adoption.
Yes, sir.
We got no points because we don't adopt the code as soon as it's published. By design, although I haven't been involved in that process yet. I understand why it was done. They would like you to adopt the newest code as soon as it comes out, and you lose points if you don't. There's two schools of thought, but I'll give you mine. You don't want to be first in anything. Codes go through a rigorous process of review, peer review, testing, things like that. But they also come out with amendments and addendas right after the code comes in. So training is an issue when you come out with a new code, and if you don't have the infrastructure to train your inspectors on the new code, you delay. It also allows our building community to not be faced with the immediate changes. Usually they go into effect like January 1st of a particular year. Fire codes are the same way. So you give it some time. We always have the current code, meaning the one that's adopted by the state, but when a new code comes out, there's some time to adopt it, and the town in the past has taken that time. And that chart, Councilman, reflects that.
So is this even relevant? Because it's got 0 for our area, and it's got basically 0 for the county, and even the state's only 1/10 of a point.
Well,
What's the value of? I understand what the report does, but it doesn't seem like there's much significance in it.
Well, the significance is that it's telling you that on a national average, nationally, the codes are adopted sooner when they're published than what the state of North Carolina, the county of Avery and Watauga, and the town of Beech Mountain do.
Okay, thank you.
That's what that chart means.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
All right, before I go into my reports, we've got the department reports. Did anyone have any questions with those?
I didn't see the infrastructure report, just curious why.
I saw it.
It's 8.8.
That's not listed.
If you want to take a look at that. Recreation, fitness. I had it on my desk when I reviewed it.
Vice Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I believe that there was a glitch in the system. It wasn't uploaded. It exists online and it
Okay.
exists as the live link.
Yes, ma'am.
It was just a glitch in the iCompass software. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, I'll take it.
Because I spoke with Whitney and she said she didn't see it and I had it on there. When she refreshed her page, it
Yes,
was
ma'am.
there. So
Okay.
something was wonky. I
If
apologize.
you, if you would look at it online or
Yeah, I'll
give
look
me
at it online. Yeah.
I'll figure out whatever question you have there. I did look at it.
I just like to
But
look
it's
at
not
the,
in my packet.
The recycling and the trash.
Yes, yeah, well, we're actually, we're above where we were last year on tonnage, but we have a lot more people on the mountain. And I'll tell you how we measure that. We're measuring that by the amount of water that we're selling, potable water. That's how I gauge what the occupancy of the mountain is. And obviously, everything else fits into that. We expected a much larger decrease in tonnage, and we haven't seen it. If you were at the recycling center this weekend, we were overflowing.
Yeah.
We had no place to put it. But we'll take a look at that, and if you've got any questions, holler, and we'll have both reports in your packet next month.
That's not a bad problem to have.
No,
I think that's
not at all.
reflective of more people coming to the mountain and recognizing what a hidden jewel we have.
Well, if you know anybody in the real estate business, they have been on fire up here, and there's not very many properties available for sale. So our town is experiencing explosive
It sure
growth in sales.
It sure is.
And if you looked at the TDA report, which I'm sure you did.
It's massive.
The numbers are impressive, particularly after a pandemic. So Kate's report on the TDA shows more record-setting occupancy tax, which directly results in how well the town is doing financially.
So I just wanted to go over that tree permits.
Okay.
It's page 120 out of 125.
Yep, I'm there.
And just to let residents know what these permits are, because we've saw a huge spike in either topping trees or cutting trees. And I believe we're at, what is it, 4-inch minimum on trees, just to let people know.
Those are the permits that the town requires to cut a tree, and that's issued out of the building department. And we, actually, we're pretty much on track. Last year, we had a peak at this time, but we exceeded that. We've cut a lot of trees. All permitted. Those are the ones that are permitted that we know of.
Just so residents know where they are as far
Okay.
as topping trees or cutting trees.
Any other questions before I go into my report? All right, thank you. We talked about the ISO. You need to know that we're having a problem with Watauga County on its tax scroll. Blowing Rock and Beech Mountain received their tax scroll. This is the database where we send our tax notices out to the property owners. And Watauga County, for the second year in a row, I understand, has been besieged with some IT issues. And the tax scroll as of today, this afternoon, is not accurate and doesn't work. The email that we received from Watauga this morning stated that they're doing a workaround. They're using Blowing Rock as the example to see if they can get it fixed and get a good tax scroll to us. So what does it mean for Beach Mountain? It means for the second year in a row, it appears our tax bills are going to be delayed getting mailed out. Now, Watauga County has already mailed those. They seem to get the data for themselves to work well, but we have not been able to get it for us. So last year, we got tax bills out after the 1st of October. We're working every day, multiple hours a day with Watauga County and the county manager and their tax administrator to get this fixed. As of today, it's not fixed. But as soon as it is, we'll get our tax bills out. And we're getting quite a few calls from our property owners wanting to know where their tax bill is, and that's the issue, is we can't get the data.
So that doesn't hit Avery, it's just Watauga.
Correct. Avery tax scroll was 100% correct when we received it the first time, and those bills are being processed.
Are there any, and I know there's got a certain period to pay these taxes, but are there any penalties for those that haven't received theirs, or could there be any gray area that they would?
Not yet. Tax bills are due November into January. It just reflects poorly on us that we can't get the tax bills out, and the decision was use the scroll they sent us and send it out, and there would have been multiple hundreds or more errors, and the decision was made not to do that and make the county give us an accurate tax scroll, and we've been struggling with that for about 10 days, 14 days. Right now, there's no penalty, and I don't anticipate that to occur. Obviously, we would address that if it went longer. On the COVID update, I sent you an email, but last Friday, the governor went to a phase 2.5. What's changed for us is mass gatherings, 25 indoors, 50 outdoors. That allowed us to open our playgrounds. They were open Saturday, the 5th. It allowed me to open Buckeye Rec Center today with some modifications. We have a fairly extensive written plan on how to open the facility, keep it clean, keep everybody within the confines of the general order, as well as to just make it safe. We're still unable to hold a public council meeting. The limit is 25, but what you don't hear is you still have to have 6 feet of social distancing. And as you can see with the 9 or 10 people I have in here today, I don't have room to put in, 25 people. So we're going to continue until such time as we can get the public in here as soon as possible. So we'll target the October 14th meeting and wait to see what the governor proclaims in 2 or 3 weeks. Our Dependent Healthcare Insurance Committee met again. We have a survey that's been produced. Tamara and Whitney are heading that up. That survey will be sent out to those employees who are currently using the dependent care. The survey basically goes over what we've talked about the last 2 months. We're putting that together, and we'll have an update. We'll have a recommendation to you by November. On projects, Buckeye Creek Road dedication, I think, went very well. On the 27th, we had a good event. We had a lot of regional people here from Avery County, Tennessee, Beach Mountain. I think we'll see an economic impact for that decision that you made to pave that road. So that went very well, and I appreciate you being there. Shane Park is moving into the final phase. We're finishing the interior work, site work and paving start this week. I would like to have a soft opening on the 2nd of October. It's a Friday in the afternoon, maybe a ribbon cutting. Dr. Shane has to leave town for the winter the next week. And we'll have the building finished, we'll have the site work done, we'll have some of the campsites done. We probably won't have all the plantings done. I'm not sure we're going to plant before winter. We might do it in the spring. But what I'd like to do, and what Dr. Shane would like you to consider, is a bigger grand opening in the spring. When it's been in operation, we've got all the little things tweaked, and it looks better. But end of construction will be the end of this month. And if the 2nd of October works on your calendar in the afternoon sometime, we'll set that up, if you would just let me know. Public Works, the roof and walls for the main building are being installed now. The salt storage and convenience center building are coming out of the ground. Water Tank Road is being gravelled, and we'll pave with the first layer in the next week or two. The contractor had an issue. He was spray painting the steel last Friday. Some of the paint was carried by the wind into the Pinnacle parking lot. There was some vehicles that were impacted by the overspray. That is not a town responsibility, but it is I felt our responsibility to accommodate the callers. We've set it up with the contractor and their insurance company. They'll be handling the insurance on those cars that were oversprayed. Again, the town doesn't have any financial responsibility. Our contractors are insured, but it was important. I thought that the town would be able to put everybody together and keep our finger on the pulse. The sewer lift station upgrades that you approved last meeting, they've begun today. That will coincide with the Shane Park. So we should have both of those completed about the time I don't think the sewer lift station will be 100%, but it'll be presentable when we do the soft opening of Shane Park. Paving, a lot of paving is being done. We're finishing up Pine Ridge today or tomorrow. They've paved all the way down to Bear Paw Path. They've started the second lane. Obviously, we'll get that striped as soon as the paving is done. Oz Road is completed, other than striping. Grassy Gap is completed. We don't forget we replaced all the water service lines in Grassy Gap. That's done, and the paving is done. Gulfview, we've replaced all the water service lines, found a number of issues. That Gulfview also has a tremendous drainage problem at the end. There's 3 houses at the end, and Gulfview is straight down. So a lot of drainage work was done there. And Beach Mountain Parkway was finally striped by the state. The town purchased the paint, and the county striped it. So we were happy to get that done. Our website, the contract's been completed, and the first draft of the front page was sent to us. It was not acceptable. So the group is working to obtain an acceptable design, and both Councilwoman Gagne and Malang are on that group, and we'll have what's acceptable better. That wasn't what you had asked for, and that wasn't what was given. Drainage issues, we've, as I reported to you last month, we've had a number of, I call them 20-year problems. They've probably been there longer than that, but they've never been fixed. We just keep like re-graveling and wait for the next rainstorm. So Wintergreen and Upper Snowbird, phase 1 of that project has been completed. Culverts have been put in place. Catch basins have been put in place. We've graded some of the ditches. There's more work to be done there, and the neighborhood thought we were done. They reached out to the mayor and I and weren't happy with the product. We went up and cleaned it up a little bit, but that work is not done. And we're actually waiting to see what we did, how it works. We did bring an engineer in on that job. We were asked by the neighborhood, did we do this by the seat of our pants? No, we employed an engineer who met us out there and showed us what needed to be done. But he laid out a phased approach to see how that's going. So it'll be completed soon. The neighborhood just needs to let us get it all done and and then tell us what they don't like, and if we can go in and clean it up or fix it, we will. Northridge Lane, we've had for 20 years, we've had a issue where the water comes down off of Village, down Northridge, and ruts across and just tears up the road, and people complain, and rightly so, that they can't drive across the ditch. So we brought the same engineer in. We went in and we upsized the culvert. I want to tell you it's a 36-inch culvert. I'm not sure. I think it's 36, could be 38, but it's huge. Put it in, went to a transition, and we're waiting for a rain to see how it works. It should work well, and that should fix that permanently. Cricket Way, again, a long-term issue where we have a long, windy road, water coming off the parkway, affecting a number of homes. Met with the homeowners, met with Daniel and Matthew. They went out and devised a plan. We did have the engineer look at it. That's underway. We'll have that finished. That'll be a permanent repair. The Mayapple Storage Yard is under construction. We have closed on those 2 properties. We're still negotiating on some others, but that is underway. And the Greenway ribbon cutting is this Thursday, the 10th at 5 o'clock over at the Greenway. We're going to get a break in the rain just for that and get that done, so I look forward to seeing you there. Fire Department has a new website. It's still beachmountainvfd.org. I'd encourage you to take a look at it. We'll have a link to the town website. It's light years ahead of what we had. I like it. I know the fire chief. So when you
Is that
get,
going to be part of the town website
it
as well?
It
Okay,
will be,
perfect.
yep. And please take a look at it and let me know what you think.
What do you think about the fire chief?
Yeah,
I like
heard-
He's a good guy. And last thing, a question to the mayor and council. Mrs. Sugarman has a public comment today. She asked a lot of questions. Would you like me to respond to her, or is that something you'd like to do? I don't mind, answering her questions and sending them back to her in writing. Your choice.
My motion is in writing back to her versus us responding. I mean, I think it would be better for you, since you've been involved in this,
Sure.
to respond back to her,
And answer her questions on her public comment.
yes.
I think we'd be more.
That's my suggestion.
I agree. I think we'd be more consistent, and that kind of falls under your responsibilities. And we'd be more consistent having you respond to her.
Okay.
And your response would then be public record too, as well, so.
Yes, unfortunately, all my responses are public record.
How's that?
Yes, I have no problem, but she wrote that with specific questions to the council today. And as usual with public comments, you don't debate those in public, but I didn't know if you would like me to answer. I'll craft an answer.
I'll leave it up to Mayor.
No, I think you need to respond to her.
Okay.
I mean, with all the emails that we've had, and she keeps saying that we're not responding to her, I think we have to.
No, I'll be happy to.
So I think, yeah,
Okay.
there's no question, but,
Mayor, that's the end of my report.
well, you're pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting things accomplished.
Yeah.
We have a lot of ribbon cuttings. That's, when we have a ribbon cutting, we check it off the list.
Bob, I have 2 questions. When the water service lines, are we taking pictures of those and putting a couple on the Let It Flow website just to show Watauga County and anyone that's interested?
That's a good idea. We've taken pictures, mostly of the leaks or the bad fittings, and documenting that. To my knowledge, we haven't posted them, but we will.
Because, I mean, that's
That's-
the leaky pipes that
that's
keep
perfect.
saying. And then also, do we have any data collection on the recycling center yet, as far as the permits goes? Because it's been has it been 6 weeks? I'm not sure if it has been. I know we were
July
gonna do
1st.
So, maybe the next
I
agenda. we could
have
talk
data
about
on the tonnage that we've hauled away. I
Okay.
have data on the financials, how the permits that we've sold off the mount for non-utility customers. I have that data I can share with you. Everything else is
I mean, has it simmered down a
subjective.
little bit?
It's running much smoother.
Okay.
We still, even this weekend when it was so busy,
Yeah.
and we had an incident with an employee got injured in the middle of the day on Monday while we're trying to, the cars were lined up. So that kind of put us back about an hour till we could get somebody else in. It's going much smoother.
Okay.
Everybody seems, most I shouldn't say everybody, most users of the center have gotten into the routine. They know not to leave the house without the placard.
That's good.
And it's much smoother at the gate. I spend quite a bit of time out there. And they're coming in, you know, you got your placard on the window and you get waved in and a smile, and then we go out and ask if we can help you.
Sure.
It's the issue is still short-term rentals, where the renter is leaving for the period, and they've got the garbage and they don't have the tag, and that is still the problem. We're still working on an individual basis with the owners of those rental properties. Quite frankly, the solution is to put in a bare bin and let us pick up the garbage, so that the renter can simply deposit the trash when they leave, and then we'll pick it up on the normal schedule. That's the solution. Not everybody wants to, you know, invest in that, and I understand. But we're working on that, and we found some other interesting solutions, but none that have the broad appeal. But that's where the issues are.
Okay. Thank you.
Just as a matter of reference, just got an email from Mrs. Sugarman stating that it is a glitch. I am locked out. Please read my statement and the one from Cindy Robinson. Thank you.
Didn't you get Cindy
Yeah, I
Robinson?
have a Cindy Robinson.
Well, first, Mayor, I'm looking at Zoom. Mrs. Sugarman is in the meeting, and I've got it up on the screen there. She's not locked out.
This is dated 4/50.56.
Okay. Well, she's in right now. And the other comment was too late. It came in this morning after we did the posting online. It was due Monday at 5. I've instructed the clerk to include that as the rules state in the next meeting, which will be October 14th.
Okay, well, as long as you can get in and hear the comments. Kelly, you got a comment?
I do. I wanted to go ahead and acknowledge that we got the handwritten email regarding feeding the deer into our mailboxes. So I just wanted to let I think it was Higgins, know that we received that, and that there wasn't an email on that, but I did receive the letter that she responded to. The other email that I received was regarding the barricades, and it was a picture of one of the barricades that was opened by a bear.
Yeah.
And I just want to make comment that if we have 1% that gets opened by a bear, 99% means it's not getting, our mountain is not getting trashed. So I received that email, and I just wanted to say that, you know, if there's 1 or 2 trash cans, if the bears are that smart, or maybe not shut correctly, then, you know, 99% of these barricades are working for the mountain, and they're keeping the mountain clean. I think that was, and my question to Chief was, Overbrook Trail, there was, the road was closed. I was trying to figure out, is that sewer pipes, or is that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, the contractor is doing sewer in Overbrook, and because of the depth of the sewer at that location, we had to close the road. At the end of the day, we're backfilling the ditch and making the road passable.
Okay, because there was a lot of heavy equipment down there, and I was just trying to, when I was walking, figure out what it was. That's my only comments.
Okay, Mr. Abernathy?
Not much. Just want to comment on the paving that Beach Mountain is doing. It's giving it a nice facelift. Continue to see consistency in more paving, striping, the landscaping along Beach Mountain Parkway. It's being consistently taken care of along with other roads on the mountain. The contractor that you've hired to do that is making the mountain look nice. The gutters, you know, they appear to be professionally done, and as much rain as Beach Mountain gets and water flow being an issue, I'm sure that that's going to help with keeping some maintenance costs down somewhere along our roadways. And probably more importantly, what I notice most about, our council packet is the financial report and the summary that you provide. It's an easy format to read. It's cut and dry. And it just, it's professionally done and looks nice. Thank you.
Well, Steve Smith does that for us.
Thanks, Steve, for it.
Yes.
Mr. Cardy?
Yes, sir. Like Widener said, the paving looks great. A lot of dump trucks up here, which is a good thing. It means progress is being made. A great job to the TDA committee and director for the entire summer. Being a difficult summer in a tourism town, they really helped the businesses out in a unique way, always promoting them. Same with the Buckeye Rec Center, always being relentless and creating something of interest when they were totally locked out. So kudos to the TDA and Buckeye Rec Center. And also a successful kite festival the chamber put on, and the town mowed the meadows across the street, which looked really nice. And it's all part of the charm when you do an event like that. People see it, and it's just more success on the mountain. And then finally, the new public works facility. I believe Riley Hatch has been on top of that pretty much every day. I see him going by like 5 times a day. But if you haven't been up there, in all honesty, it's really cool to see the view from the the new recycling center. It's about to be. You see Beach Mountain, and you see the States, and it's looking really nice. So thank you, sir.
Best view of any recycling center.
I think we should get an award for it.
We'll put in for one.
Yes, please. And that's all I have. Thank you.
A lot of the things that I had written down looking at our packet have already been said. The roads are phenomenal, and of course I'm fortunate enough to live on one of those right now. I'm normally always positive, but I will say today with the positive, you also have to be cautious of speed, because what I've noticed is that people are just flying by on the new paved roads and they're not adhering to speed limits. So I would caution our residents and our visitors. We don't need to be going 45 miles an hour on a newly paved road. We do have lots of people up here more than normal, and they're staying. So you've got people walking, and you have animals out, and you have people walking their dogs. So I would ask our residents to be cognizant of that when you're driving on the roads, because they're awful easy to let the speedometer get away from you. I'd like to thank Public Works again, because the major work that's going on, and Chief and Daniel and the team, is ongoing. The leaks in the pipes, because I've seen the pipes firsthand, seems like there are 10 times more leaks than we expected when you pull out those pipes that come out from underneath the ground. They're extensive, and so I'm sure it's doing our town a lot of great to be able to have these things replaced, finally back where they need to be upgraded. I also want to thank Sean and the Recreation Department, because they have provided, through our pandemic, all kinds of great things this summer, and had good turnout, and been very flexible with the things that they've offered for the residents and the guests this summer, and done a great job. I was thrilled to see the report from TDA and Kate that although we're in a pandemic, you would never know it when you drive on Beach Mountain Parkway, because between our businesses and our residents, it's like a normal summer up here. It's fabulous, and it's because lots of folks are working very hard. I'd like to remind everybody that if you have a problem or concern and you're a resident, or you own property and you're renting or whatever, please make sure that you contact the town hall, contact our town manager, contact one of your council members. We're here for you to help you with calls and concerns. With that being said, I want to make sure that we go on record that Mrs. Sugarman is very aware, that the council is aware of her concerns. I've personally driven down her road 5-6 days in a row at different times of the day to look for burning and her concerns. on Hornbeam and right by her home, because I don't want anybody concerned with a problem that they may be having. So we're very well aware of that. In reference to the bear cages, the bear cage that was broken into, I personally witnessed myself. Got out of my vehicle, went over and looked at it. The right-hand door was open with trash. The left-hand door was closed with a bear paw on it as an attempt. So the 1% is great. You have to wonder if someone was renting that house, was it closed completely? We'll never know. But I clearly saw a bear paw on the left-hand side attempting to try to get in to get to it. But I will also tell everybody that I've seen more bear cages coming up the mountain to be installed this summer than in all the years I've been coming, and that's since 1986. So I appreciate Chief and the work that his staff is doing, and I also appreciate working on this council, because I know we receive lots of conversation and/or phone calls from folks with needs and/or all the parades that are happening. Beach is growing, and you can certainly see it.
Okay, thank you. I'd just like to, thank the TDA for the great presentation they made at the ribbon cutting. I think that was great. I think Sandy did a great job as MC and got everybody involved. And so I think that was great. There was a newspaper that was there that took pictures. So I think they really organized a great job. There wasn't any wine, but that's beside the point.
Can we talk like winery?
Not that I drink. Just there was a few comments with, was it you that brought that up? No.
It was.
I thought it was. The other thing is that big shovel down off Oz Circle, or is it still up there?
It was up there this morning.
So we got a problem with him trying to get down on our new paved road.
No, he has a problem.
I know.
The gentleman, I met with him every day last week and tried to facilitate a solution with the resort to get him off there. He is well aware that the new pavement, any damage he causes, he's responsible for. He has a plan B in place to get that piece of equipment, walking it over plywood to his trailer. He's got to get it underneath the Oz Bridge. The paving contractor met with him and I and said he had to at least let the new pavement sit for 4 days before he could put that machine on it, wood or no wood. And I believe he's done that, and I think they're going to try and get it off today.
Good. Because it'd be a shame for him to ruin that road. It looks great.
He's well aware.
Good.
And Mayor, we did try to accommodate him by holding off the paving for 3 days. He told us he would be done by Friday, and then he didn't, so we went ahead and paved.
With the amount of rock he's trying to break, he'd be there forever. And I do suggest, I walk up there every week, but I do suggest that you go up and look at the Public Works building. They put the curbs in, and the building, you walk in the building, it is going to be fantastic, believe me. So if you get an opportunity, the mud is gone, you're not going to be in mud up to your kneecaps. But I walk there at least once a week, and it's.
One of the best hikes is Tamarack up to Public Works.
Yeah.
Perry Park.
Right.
Yeah, take it up.
So it's, if you get a chance, go take a look. It's really, really great.
Yes,
And
sir.
once you got the curbs in, you really get to see the whole property,
Right, how it fits.
how it fits. It really does.
Oh, it has curb appeal.
Huh?
It has curb appeal.
Yeah, curb appeal.
I got you. That went over his head. I said that went over your head.
And other than that, I think everything is looking great. We're heading in the right direction. I get a little upset when I look at the resort we got, 77 days to winter, and 77 hours and 52 minutes. And that gives me kind of more gray hair. I mean, we have to think about winter. But we'll be glad to have it. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Mayor, could we add a moment of silence for the 9/11 first responders, since 9/11 is in a couple days and we won't have a meeting by then? Okay.
Absolutely. Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Wagner's not out the door yet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, first responders.
Goodbye.